Hello and welcome to your rune reading. My name is Daniel Erulian, your local Tantrik Heathen and Rune Yogi. So how this rune reading works is I've got a deck of 24 runes of the Elder Futhark. I am going to shuffle them, just randomly pull out 3 sets of 3. So it's not a pre-planned reading. It's completely off the cuff. And yeah, I'm just going to trust that the energies that play out between these 3 sets of runes are the perfect one that you need, because you will be choosing one of these 3 sets. So if you do feel drawn to choose more than one set of runes, that is completely fine. But essentially the way it works is you'll close your eyes, take a few breaths in through the nose and out through the nose, deepening the belly as you breathe in, slowing down the breath as you breathe out. Yes, this part is important. I feel like slowing down the breath, tuning into your body, tuning into that deeper layer of yourself can help you to quiet the chattery mind and tap into your intuition, whatever you consider that to be, a little bit more than usual. So 3 sets of 3. Take a nice big breath, whatever comes to mind when I click my fingers in 3, 2, 1. You've chosen your number. So I'm going to start with rune set number 3 today. So rune set 3. Cool. So we have Hagalaz, Tiwaz, and Berkano. So Hagalaz is a notorious rune for being very uncomfortable. People try to avoid Hagalaz. It's a bit of a joke in certain circles. But it is really essential because it is the alchemical solve coagule, this idea of breaking things down and rebuilding it in a new inspired form. You know, the example I usually use is, imagine you have been building a house, slowly adding rooms to it, slowly adding bits, and it ends up in this jumbled mess. And by then, through trial and error, you realize the new vision of your house. But now there's no room left to do that. And it's a jumbled mess. You've kind of been cobbling on rooms and bits and pieces. So in order to create a new, you need to demolish the old house. So you need to go through that destruction process, yeah? And destruction is not bad. Destruction is a natural part of nature. Yeah, so it is also sowing the seeds for new fertile ground. So Berkano at the end is this new fertile ground. But it's understanding, what are you building around? So if Hagalaz is inviting you to destroy or to honor this natural destruction that is going on already at the moment, if you're midway through it. So either you're midway through this destruction, you're about to meet destruction, or it's inviting you to demolish something yourself, and that's okay. But Tiwaz is asking you to either keep the pillar or to really understand what you're trying to do here. So it's not chaotic, like F this destruction. It needs to be controlled demolition. Yeah. So before you go and just throw everything off and destroy, understand why you're doing this in the first place. Yeah. Because otherwise you're going to repeat cycles, right? So Berkano is a reminder of the whole birth, death, rebirth cycle. It is the process of the butterfly from the caterpillar. Yeah, but Berkano is this breaking open. It is the butterfly emerging from its cocoon. But in order to facilitate that change, you need to understand why you're building what you're building. You know, the caterpillar knows exactly what it's building and why it's building it, and is willing to go through that discomfort because it understands the process. But if you're just going to destroy for the sake of destroying, you're just going to repeat the pattern. You're going to repeat the process. So what needs to be destroyed? How does it need to be destroyed? Where are you heading through this destruction? And what are you hoping to rebuild? And what needs to realistically be laid out to make the most fertile opportunity for your new growth, for your new opportunity, for your new house. So take some time to think about this. Don't rush in. Plant your charges in specific strategic locations, blow it all down, rebuild with a plan. Yeah, if you're not much of a planner, this is going to be difficult for you, but Hagalaz is difficult. It is a catastrophe, technically. So if you don't want to repeat the old patterns, go on with a plan. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be 100% set out in every way, just some sort of axis. That's what TWAS is. Just get the spine, just get the basic blueprint. The rest will kind of come. Yeah. Trust the process, go in with a plan. Don't blow up too much stuff. Hopefully that helped. That was rune reading number 3. I'm going to go with number 2. I'm going to go in reverse. Rune set number 2. We have Naldis, Uruz, and Dagas. So Naldis is needful resistance. It can be stress. It can, be frustrating. So maybe you are currently frustrated. Maybe you are meeting resistance. You don't understand why. Maybe you're creating a story around that this is not what you are meant to be doing. I don't think there is any meant to be doings, right? You know, what does that even mean? If you were to say, oh, I'm not meant to do this, what does that actually mean? Is that just a cop-out because it's become hard for you? You know, we do have to find that balance between, yes, trusting the universe, trusting that highest part of ourselves, but anything worth pursuing is usually difficult. And especially with Uruz here, this is actually reminding us to be fierce, to be strong, to persevere. And that, you know, we have our Hamingia or our Orlog in Norse mythology. So our Hamingia is a part of our soul which accumulates luck. It's kind of similar to idea to karma, but it's not an ethical deed. It's more so really doing things that are difficult, that are heroic. That could just be creating new habits. It doesn't have to be anything grand on the scheme of things. But it's overcoming resistance. And luck favors the bold in the way that once you are overcoming small things, it creates momentum and builds force and drive and luck and magic behind you. But you need to have horns. Like Uruz is like the wild Auroch. So an Auroch is an extinct beast now, but it's pure wild ferociousness. And so if you're meeting resistance and creating all these stories, oh, poor me, you know, I can't do this, or this isn't meant to be, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not meant to be. What does that even mean realistically? So it is a bit of a tough love reading, being like, are you just making excuses because it's difficult? And if it's difficult, isn't that a good thing? Because it's going to give you a challenge. It's going to give you opportunity and growth through this process. And if not, why did you want to do it in the first place? If it really is important to you, shouldn't it be a little bit difficult? So Dargaz at the end of this is this realization. It's this seeing the truth behind it all. And usually that comes from being in the extremes. You don't really get the realization by staying in that comfortable, temperate environment. You get it from seeing the complete opposites. You get it from seeing the extremes, from going through the process, from being there and doing the thing, for being out there and experiencing the full spectrum of the human experience. And that's why people who have been through the ringer, have been through all this stress and you know, tumultuous things, end up doing grand deeds, because they can speak from experience. They can integrate all aspects of being human. So I think it's asking you to really remove the chatter and the stories and just start actioning something. If it's really something you don't want to do, then don't do it. Stop, creating stories around it and move on and do something else. But if me saying that to you brings up something for you and you feel resistance to that, then head the other way and just start moving towards it. If you repeatedly do it again and again and again and it really isn't working, there's your answer. Yeah. But to me, there is no right or wrong way. It's starting to walk the path and seeing what becomes of you through that process. But if you sit here and you loop around in circles in your mind, if you create all these stories, that's just going to keep you stagnant. So Dargaz is the realization through the movement. It is this, swishing, this swirling vortex of movement that ends up creating this eye in the storm to be able to see the truth and see what you need to see within all this. So there is light at the end of the tunnel if you are going through something difficult at the moment. And this is what life's about, really exploring our challenges and meeting them with the best of our ability. And we're not perfect. You don't have to do more than your means, but start moving in that direction, or in some direction. Anyway, I hope that made sense. I hope that helps. And yeah, the runes can be brutal sometimes. And that's why I like them. The runes can be really just cut through all the BS. So it's a positive reading though. Great reading. Just so you know. You got some work to do. And I believe in you. So that was Rune Set number 2. So the last one, Rune Set number 3. Sorry, Rune Set number 1. I read 3 firsts, 2 second, and then now this is Rune Set number 1. If you wondered why it's so late in the video, if you've skipped ahead, because I did it in reverse. I did 3, then 2, then 1. So Rune Set number 1, Kanars, Wunyo, Yera. So Kanars is asking us to build skill in a particular area, to go through the process of something, maybe learning something new. That's what it's kind of telling me in this instance. So what skill is needed? Where are you going to get it from? And are you willing to put the time in and be patient with that? So especially with Yera coming up, this is a reminder of patience and timing. Wunyo is really asking you to be aware of all the moving pieces of this and not to skip any corners, not to cut any corners with this. Maybe to find a tribe or a clan or a group to support you through this. Anytime you're learning something new, it can be a really, really lonely road. And a lot of the time we are more motivated by keeping accountable to others than ourselves. So if it is a big challenge for you, or if you find you're not creating that habit to build that new skill, find some sort of accountability group within that in order to support you through that. And Yera is all about timing and laying the seeds for new fruits and new trees to bear eventually. So what it's saying is this is going to be a process maybe longer than you expect it to be. Yeah. You will obviously meet challenges as a natural human. Unless you're a cat watching this, you found your human's YouTube and have chosen to get a rune reading, then you'll have no issues because cats can figure everything out themselves, I'm very sure. But we humans, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you view it, we kind of need each other a lot of the time. So if you're doing this alone, don't negate the possibility or the benefits of doing this in some sort of group. Could be with a friend, could find an existing group that's doing this, because it will bear fruit. And, we forget sometimes that if we just stick with it, we can't really fail at it. Our path will probably veer off a little bit. We'll probably end up in a slightly different direction than we originally started, but that's also part of it. But really taking time to hone your craft is key here. And I think people rush into things and want results a lot faster than realistically we can. So it's this rune reading to me is saying that it might be a longer road that you expect it to, but it's going to be so worth it if you stick with it and hone your craft and really, really keep that torch lit and focus it and not get distracted. It's really going to pay off for you. I mean, really, really going to pay off for you. But you got to be patient and you got to stick with it. So maybe look for some sort of support group. Look for things that will support you and keep you awake, keep that fire lit, and keep you on track. Because if you sow these seeds now, it will pay off in the future. Yeah? And maybe revisit this later and check in every, few months or whatever to see where you're at. And to know also when to reap the fruits. So that is all for today's rune reading. Thank you for joining me. As usual, please comment, let me know which one you chose, how it resonated for you. I really love hearing people's experience and feedback of what they're getting from these rune readings. And yeah, if you did like it, please click that thumbs up button and subscribe if you would like more of this content. I'm creating more things on runes, yoga, magic, all the above. So thank you again. And until next time, Ryan till Runa.